Montijan, the Dean of Students for the lower school. We're really excited to have you back in here on April 28th. Today you're going to get your first look at some of the safety protocols that we have in place here at AMSA to make sure that we can have you back into the buildings safely, socially distanced at all times. There will be a lot of information shared during the course of this video, so please make sure that you are paying attention. More information will also be released as we get closer to the start of school on April 28th. Now, as you can see at the moment, I'm not wearing a mask because I'm outside and I am more than 6 feet away from other people. However, when you get to school, masks will be required of all students at all times on campus, except during designated mask break times, which you'll get more information about later on. So, on entering the school building, you will see many signs that say that you must wear a face mask. Again, the face mask is not optional here at school. It must be worn by all students at all times. So now we're here in the lower school hallway, and we're going to talk a little bit about how this space is going to work. First, throughout all of the buildings, you'll see signage saying which way traffic should be flowing anytime that we're in the hallway. One of the things to also keep in mind, in order to keep the traffic light in the hallways, we are not using lockers this school year. So we are asking all of you to only bring the material you need for the 4 classes that you have that day. If you are a student in grade 6 or 7, you will be allowed to carry a full-size backpack for this year instead of using a string bag. So now we'll walk down the hallway and we'll talk a little bit more about how this hallway is going to work. As you can see in the middle of the hallway, we have these retractable stanchions. These are here to make sure that students stay to the right of the hallway anytime that there's a major transition happening. So between classes, when students are arriving to school, very important that no one touch these stanchions. These are here to make sure that social distancing guidelines are followed. We don't want anyone cutting underneath the stanchions, and again, we don't want students touching them at all. So please be sure to leave these as they are. And these will help you stay to the right as you are walking down this hallway. So here we are in the far end of the lower school hallway, and a couple important pieces of information. Again, first and foremost, we will not be using lockers this year so that this space can stay open. The other thing that we're asking all students to do is anytime that you are in the hallway, you need to keep moving and go directly to the next place that you're supposed to be. There cannot be anyone hanging out, making a crowd in the hallway. Everyone has to keep moving at all times. Now, if I'm on this side of the hallway and I need to get to a classroom that's on the other side of the hallway, all students will need to walk all the way to the end, come around the loop, and make their way back down the other side of the hallway while staying to the right. Again, this is being done to make sure that all of the school's social distancing guidelines are being followed here at AMSA. So here we are on the top floor of the lower school building. So that main wood staircase here that's in the front lobby of the school, this will be an up-only staircase. Traffic on this floor will run one direction only during any of the major transitions. So in between classes, when school starts in the morning, and when school dismisses. So anyone needing to get to this floor must use this staircase only and walk down the hallway into their next class. So now if I'm on the top floor and I'm exiting a class to go to my next location, I'm going to go towards the downstairs only. Again, this hallway is a one direction only hallway. So I'm walking out of the class, I'm going to hand sanitize again, and walk down here to the down only staircase. Students will have to walk down the down staircase and do the loop downstairs in order to come back upstairs to go to a classroom that might be on the other side of this hallway. Again, this is being done because this hallway is very narrow, and we have to make sure that we can maintain social distancing as much as possible at all times. Now, there are some places here on the top floor where we cannot have one-way traffic. So in places like this, you'll see tape on the floors. We're going to ask that students stay to the right of the tape on the floor so that the traffic can move in both directions and people can get where they need to go while maintaining as safe a distance as is possible in a space that's this small. Okay, so now I've walked into a classroom. The first thing I'm going to do when I walk in is use these hand sanitizer stations that have been set up in every single classroom here at the school. Every student, whenever you enter a classroom, must hand sanitize upon entering. Once I enter, I'm going to go directly to my assigned seat. Seats will be assigned in every classroom by every teacher, and seating charts are going to be maintained. The reason for that is that the school needs to be able to conduct contact tracing should that become necessary. So once class is done at the end of the day, or at the end of the period, I'm going to get up, hand sanitize again to leave the classroom, and go on to my next location. A couple reminders about classrooms here at the lower school. Cell phones are not allowed to be used by lower school students at AMSA. Since we are not using lockers, we strongly recommend that cell phones just stay home during the school day. If a cell phone is brought to school, it needs to be in a backpack and off. However, keep in mind, if a cell phone is seen or heard during the school day, it will be confiscated by school staff. Also keep in mind that we have made some adjustments to the uniform requirement this year. So as you can see, I'm wearing the official AMSA uniform today with the long sleeve polo shirt because it's a little cool outside. For this year only, we are also allowing students to wear polo shirts that do not have the AMSA logo on them. Please be aware though, plain polo shirts, they have to be navy and they cannot have other logos on them. So we sent out some information to your parents with how to purchase those if those are needed. Students are still required to wear khaki pants or navy pants to school at all times. All right, here we are at the bathrooms. We're going to talk a little bit about how these are going to work. First, it's important to know that no more than 2 students can be in any bathroom at any one time. So any student who comes to the bathroom, goes in the door and sees that there are already 2 people there, will be asked to stand in the hallway on these 6-foot spaced dots in order to make sure that we can maintain social distancing in the bathrooms. It's also important to know that bathroom use will only be allowed during class. The bathrooms will not be available to be used in between classes or after lunches or before classes start in the morning. Again, that's to make sure that we can maintain social distancing and make sure that there's not large crowds in the bathrooms. As you can also see, the bathrooms are going to be routinely cleaned throughout the day to ensure that they maintain a germ-free environment as much as possible. So mask breaks will be scheduled as a part of the normal school day each day. Mask breaks will take place outside, and when you get outside, you will be able to take your mask off as long as you are 6 feet away from all students and all staff. We'll be taking advantage of all the outdoor space we have here at AMSA in order to do that. And at the end of the mask break, of course, when you go to re-enter the building, the mask must go back on your face. All right, so here we are in the lower school cafeteria. Lunch will look very different when you get back into the building than normal. As you can see, we have desks set up. All these desks are spaced 6 feet apart. And when you arrive to school on day 1, you'll be allowed to choose which seat you sit at. However, once you make that choice, that will be your seat for the remainder of the school year. So for the next 7 weeks, you will have to sit in the same seat that you sat in on day 1. When you arrive on day 1, you'll see, they're not here yet, but there will be some labels here that will have numbers on them. You'll sit at that same number every day. And again, the reason for that is because we need to maintain a seating chart of where everyone is sitting in case contact tracing becomes necessary. Again, these seats may not be moved at any point from the day that you come in until the end of the school year. Once lunch is over, as always, we're going to ask that you clean up your space. We'll hand out wipes. You'll be disinfecting both the top of the desk as well as the seat. And when you're done eating lunch, you can raise your hand and ask the adult on duty if you can go outside and take a mask break. We will allow that to happen in a designated space outside. Once you get outside, you can take your mask off and stand 6 feet apart from someone and talk with them. Unfortunately, we will not be able to allow any game playing, nothing with a ball, no tag, no running around, anything like that. Once you guys get outside, it will just be a chance for a mask break and for you to socialize with friends. When lunch is over, everyone will leave the cafeteria out the designated exit and actually go outside and come up and around to come back into the building from the top floor. So, at the end of your day here in the lower school building, a couple things will need to happen. First, make sure that you are following the instructions of all adults who will let you know which doors you can exit out of and in which order that you'll be able to leave the classroom. Other thing to keep in mind is when you exit the class, you will need to hand sanitize again on your way out of the classroom, as always, as you should have been doing throughout the day. And all students must leave campus as quickly as possible. So dismissal remains at 2:45. The buildings are being shut down at 3:30 in order for them to be cleaned. So there will be no in-person clubs. That includes in-person homework club. There will be no after-school care provided here this year. So it is very important that everyone leave the grounds when school ends. Again, the buildings are going to be shut down by 3:30. So if you're staying for an office hour with a teacher, that office hour can only go until 3:30. I'm going to talk a little bit about how the COVID restrictions are going to work over here in the white building. First, as we know, we only have this one door to come in and out of in this building. It will be very important that all students stay to the right anytime they're going through these doors so that we can have two-way traffic flow as safely as possible through this space. Upon entering the white building, all students will need to come in and go to the right in order to get to any classes in this building. It'll be one-way traffic flow and a big loop all the way around the building. That also means that if you have a class in room 800 or 801, you do need to come in, go to the right, and walk around in order to get to it. Again, that's so that we can have one-way traffic flow and keep things as socially distanced as possible. The other thing that you'll notice is in front of the bathrooms, there are some of these blue dots to maintain 6-foot distancing. As with all bathrooms on campus, only 2 students at a time may be in any of the student bathrooms. If you get to a bathroom and you find that there are already 2 students there, we're going to ask that you stand on the blue dot until a space in the bathroom opens up.
This is Mr. Amaral checking in. I hope that you're ready to come back to school. There's a few things that you need to know because things are going to look a little bit different from when you remember coming into school to coming into school on April 28th. So just to start, this door here is an only enter door, okay? Wherever you're coming from, usually from the outside, you can only enter the store, you cannot exit from the store. Okay, this is an only enter door. So once you enter, this would probably be coming, whether you're coming from physical education, or you're coming from the white building, or you're coming from the lower school, this is the door you'll enter to get into the upper school. Once you come through this door, you have a couple options. Okay, you come through, you stay to the right, and you have a few options. If you need to go down that hall, this is the way you're going to need to go. Okay, you're going to need to go down this hall and wrap around. If you have class over here, you cannot cut through this exit area. Okay, you cannot cut through the exit area here. You have to go down this hallway here and wrap around and get to the classrooms there. When you're exiting that area, if you're in classrooms over here, you're exiting this way. Okay, you're going to exit this way. So, for instance, if you have class in Miss Bandaro's room, 504, and the class is dismissed, you'll come out of Miss Bandaro's room. You won't be able to go down there. You won't be able to go down there. You have to exit this way from Miss Bandaro's room or any of the rooms down that way. We're trying to create a nice traffic pattern that goes around so that it's safe for everybody to move in a circular system. So the second floor in the upper school is a little bit different. We have this stairway. This stairway is an up-only stair. So we're up on the top floor. So when you come up from the up-only stairs, you have 2 choices. You can take a right to go to the classrooms down that way, and those classrooms are 607 to 612, or you can cut through here towards where the bathrooms are. If your classroom is down in the corner, which would be any classroom 601 through 605 and 613. So once you cut through here though, you only have one option. You cannot go that way. You have to take a left. Because again, we are trying to keep the circular path moving and flowing, okay? That's really important. You have a circular path you need to take. It's the best path we could find to make sure everyone can get to the classes that they need to, in order that we don't cross together. We don't want students crossing and congregating in small areas, so we want people to move around in a cylindrical pathway. Now we're in the science wing and we're at the top of the up-only stair at the top floor, and we've taken a right down this hallway. What you'll have to do is get into any of these classrooms that you can have. You can get into any of these classrooms once you take a right off of the up-only stair, okay? When you're dismissed from one of these classrooms, you need to move again in a circular pathway this way, by all the lockers. Remember, we're not allowing any locker use, so please don't hover around the lockers. Don't try to use any of the lockers. No one in the school has access to the lockers. So just as a side note. But we're going to keep moving down the circular pathway. And here we are back again at the crossroads near the bathrooms. Okay, so if you are going downstairs from the top floor in the science wing, you're going to want to use this stairwell to go downstairs. It says roof access, but that doesn't have anything to do with where you're going, so you don't have to worry about that. And it has the exit sign, so you know that's the stairway you're going to go down to get to the second floor when you're dismissed out of class. All right, so we're down on the bottom floor of the upper school. And as you'll notice, this stair too is a down-only stair. This is where you'll be coming down to access the bottom floor. This is where the guidance department is, the staff bathrooms, and the media center normally is, along with the cafeteria over to the left. Once you come down the down-only stair, you will see many arrows and tape actually on the ground to show you which way you can go. Okay, the staff bathrooms are still for staff only, just so you know. And once you come down, you have a couple options, right? You can move into the guidance area. You can travel down this hallway. This will be a two-direction hallway. Students coming this way, students going that way. So as we move down this hallway, here we go. So we have the media center here, the cafeteria will be there, and this stairway 1, is an up-only stair. So this is how you will access floor number 2 after you are dismissed from one of these classrooms down on the bottom floor. The other way you can access the next floor, or second floor, or third floor, is by coming from one of the classrooms in the cafeteria around through where the vending machines were in the cafeteria. So you'd be coming out these doors here, past where the vending machines are, and you can either go this way towards the stair number 1, only up stair, or you can head out this way through to the student parking lot, take a left or a right to the white building, take a left to come back up around either to Four Kicks for PE, or up and around to the front door where that's where you'll be coming back into the building. We're going to demonstrate what lunch will look like for high school students right now. So wherever your lunch will be, it could be in a few different places. Right now we're not sure where the lunch is going to be, but this is what the lunch procedure will look like. So you're going to come into your lunch area. You're going to sit down at your desk. You are allowed to remove your cell phone at this time. The desks will be 6 feet apart from one another, facing in the same direction. You'll sit down, you'll take your phone out, and similar to when you eat at a restaurant, you'll see this white piece of paper right in front of you. It'll be attached to the desk. Please don't remove it or write on it or spill anything on it if you can. We will have you clean up after your lunch is over, but it'll be similar to when you go out to eat right now and you look at the menu at a restaurant and they ask you to scan the QR code. And what you'll do is take out your camera on your phone and you'll scan the QR code. Something like this will pop up. You click the pop-up. It'll bring you to your Google sign-in. You must sign in with your AMSA account. Once you sign in with your AMSA account, you will be allowed to access the Google form that will help us keep track of where you're sitting for contact tracing in case one or more people get some sort of illness that we may need to trace that back to you and to other people who are sitting around you. So please make sure you sit down quickly and scan your QR code that's on your table. Once you get there, once you get to it and you put your sign in, what you'll see is this. It'll say lunchroom seating, seat registration for contact tracing. What it asks you to do is just type in the number of the table that you're sitting at, and you'll find that numbered right under the QR code. And once you're there, it says your answer. You hit your answer. You hit your number pad here, obviously. You hit 1 and submit, and you are all done. That's it. Very simple. What that ends up doing is sending your email address. It logs you into a Google form that I've created that is attached to a spreadsheet. That spreadsheet is updated as soon as you put in your table number, and it has your email address, what time you sat down, and what number you will have for your seat at lunch. Here's how the bathrooms are going to work. They're going to work just the same as the video Mr. Montesian put up for the lower school. There will be dots on the floor. There can only be 2 people in there at a time, so you please need to be patient while you're waiting to go into the bathroom. If you happen to walk in and you see that there are 2 people already in there, please make sure you step back and stand on the dot. Okay, that's the reason why we have that is to keep people safe. It's not to stop you from going to the bathroom. So please, 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 during class only, you can go to the bathroom. Okay, so that's the other thing. You can only go to the bathroom during class. Outside of class, you need to keep moving and moving to your next class or wherever you're going. Okay, it can't be stopping quickly to go to the bathroom before you're moving to your next class. You must continue progressing to your next class once the class you just came from dismissed. All right, seniors, this is just for you. Concerning senior privilege. So we created a way that's non-contact so that you can scan yourself out or sign yourself out using one of these QR codes that I already explained for the lunch procedure. Basically, all you're going to do is take your phone out again, turn your camera on or the app that you may use to scan a QR code. You scan the code, you sign in, you make sure that you're signed in through your AMSA account. At that point, what's going to happen is the drop-down menu is going to come and you're going to pick the reason why you're signing yourself out. Basically, it's going to say an S or a P, or it's going to say senior priv. Please pick that or whatever reason you're signing yourself out for, and you'll be all set. You won't have to stop in with Ms. Paley. All you'll have to do again is scan the QR code and put the reason for signing yourself out. All right, everyone, this is how dismissal will work. At 2:45, everyone is asked to leave the building. All students are asked to leave the building. If at any time you're staying for a teacher's office hours, those office hours only stay until 3:30. At which point you'll need to leave the building totally. Okay, there will be no one on campus after 3:30. So we need to make sure that's very clear. Please, please, please make sure that your parents come pick you up on time, or your brother or your sister, whoever. That's really important. We can't have anyone on campus after 3:30. All people are outside at 2:45 again, except if you're staying for a teacher's office hours and you stay till 3:30. One thing that we have to bring up too is that there are no in-person after-school clubs or activities going on in the building or in any of the buildings, just so we can cut down on any people crossing at any time. And also because we have a cleaning crew coming in at 3:30 sharp to make sure that the building is clean and safe for you all the next day. So please, please, please make sure to leave the buildings when dismissal happens, unless you're staying for an office hour with a teacher until 3:30. But after that, everyone's out, and there won't be anyone on campus after 3:30.
With that, folks, that's how we are going to work to keep you safe and us safe as we get back to school. We're looking forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.